Well, thank you everybody for coming. I can't even begin to tell you how exciting this is for me. I've told several people this story before, but back in 2001, 2002, that I started working in a computer lab like this. 2000 actually, but I started using this program that I'm going to talk to you about today, Moodle, in about 2001, 2002. Now, there's a couple of things that we're going to do here today. Number one, I'm going to give you some background information on how we're going to use this in the first iteration of the project, the pilot part of it. Talk to you about future potential. And we're going to go ahead and get you started with actually building your class for next semester. Okay, a class for next semester, or all three classes for next semester eventually. Number one, this interface started out as a dissertation project for a gentleman in Australia named Martin Dugiamas. He was working at the time for WebCT. For those of you who have done maybe some online learning along the way, have used WebCT, and he was a programmer for them. And he decided that after seeing the bottom line numbers, he said, people can't afford this. So what he decided to do is he wanted to build his own learning management system that would be more functional than WebCT. So he went on to start doing that as part of his dissertation. Well, the biggest component of him doing this was he wanted to make it what we call open source. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the programming aspects of computer programming, there is prioritized code like Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office, where you have to have special permission to get in and actually do some developing. Then there's open source, and there are different licenses for open source, but the general concept of open source is I develop a program and I open up the source code to all of you and say, help me make it better. So in 2001, 2002, he starts building the first base code for Moodle. I come on board with a group of, at that time, maybe a couple of hundred people, and we start adding to Moodle and building into this open source code. That was version 1.2, I think, 1.3. We're now on version 2.4, and this is version 2.3, which is the most stable version as far as I'm concerned right now. So, over a 10-year span, that group of a couple of hundred people has grown to tens of thousands of people that are now working, building, and adding code to this to make it better and better and better, which makes it a great opportunity for us because open source equals free. Meaning, we don't have to pay to use this software. The only thing we have to pay for, if we were to do it, would be the computer, the server space, to have it reside. Well, right now, this resides on my own personal server. So, it's free. Okay, I'm taking care of that. Eventually, we'd like to move it to a nice server box at the board office where we would be able to build and expand and have unlimited resources. But for right now, this is going to work perfect for Appalachia. It's going to be plenty big enough, and it has plenty of space for us to work with. Now, what are we going to use it for? Well, I'm going to give you some examples today and show you some examples of how it's already being used. But resources for students would be one. The organization of your classes and how you want to structure your classes is another one. Providing instructional support, a flipped classroom. Some of you may have read the article that Mr. Wilson sent out a couple of weeks ago about the flipped classroom, where you would provide instruction virtually in the evening or on a piece of paper in the evening, or whatever the case may be, and then the students come back and actually do the practice during your class. This is an excellent way to do that, and I'll show you how one teacher is already doing that type of activity. What about the kids in ISS, kids in OSS, the kids who are absent? How many times has a kid come to you and say, I lost that piece of paper that had that information on it? Can you give me a number? No, go to the class website. But this is way more than a class website. This is a learning management system. This has the eventual functionality to be able to put an assignment in here, have the students submit the assignment to you online, you grade it and provide feedback to them online, enter a grade, and have it linked directly to Infinite Campus and put the grade in the grade book for you. Okay? That's down the line, but that's big picture, the ability of what we're going to, the things that we'll be able to do with this. Okay? I saw one email, somebody replied and said, somebody is concerned that this is going to replace us as teachers. No. See, that's the thing. The whole idea behind this is to provide the students with additional resources and fewer excuses of why they can't do something. Question came up. Students don't all have computers at home. I'm good with that. I bet you the vast majority of them have a smartphone or have access to a smartphone. I have built this functionality and turned on the functionality within Moodle for us to have a virtual handheld device iteration of the website, so that your resources that you're providing in your courses here will show up on their Android/iOS devices.
Does that work for us too?
Uh-huh. Exactly. So we have a great amount of ability to say there are no more excuses. Okay? Now, let's log in and see what something is going to look like. On your piece of paper here, the agenda, did you get one, Coach?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Your username over here on the right-hand side, did everybody get to this page, by the way? Okay. Your username is going to be the first name dot last name that you use for your login to Google Docs. So go ahead and put that in there. And then your password I have listed on the on the piece of paper. You want to put the password that's on the piece of paper, on the agenda. But yes, if you put in your password, it's going to come out, that password that's on that piece of paper right there, it's going to ask you for a new password that you're going to want to go ahead and put in and change it to something that you're going to remember. And this one, in this particular setup, it won't be like the Google Docs password where if you forget it, you come to me and do it. This one actually has a link that says, if you forget your password, click here. And you'll be able to go in and request a new password and go through the steps that they're going to provide for you. Okay? So when you log in, after you have changed your password, was everybody able to do that? Okay? You will click in the top left-hand corner, right up here, it says Home. Click there and it'll take you right back to the home page. Now you are currently signed up for 4 courses. So if you click My Courses, you should see 4 courses here, do you? Does everybody see 4 courses? Kim, you only see 3? You see your 3?
And then it says Chi and TikTok.
Okay, good. So you see 5 then. Okay, well that's a good thing. Okay, the Tech Talk is the one that I want you to go to. Everybody go ahead and go to Tech Talk.
What was that? I don't have that.
You don't have that? Which, okay, let's go over there and take a look.
I just have the 3.
You do? Okay. Well, then hang on a second. I will add you. This is a great opportunity because I want you to see this too. I would have showed you this previously. That's okay. That's good. Right over here, okay, in my settings for the course, I can add enroll users. This is so easy. So let's say you have a student who comes to the school and I have not been able to import that student into your class yet, and you want to give them permission, I can enroll users. All right? So now, I'm going to enroll students, and let's see. I'm going to search for Harmony. So I'm just going to put Harm and hit enter. And here she comes up. She does Harm to me.
Wait,
No,
hold
Harmony
on.
did too.
How did you get where you are?
This is what he's.
I only can do that because this is in my settings for this class. Okay, and then I've added her, so now I'm going to do, I'm going to close this. I'm going to enroll another one, which is going to be, oh yeah, enroll users. There we go. I'm going to enroll Hilton, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we come up with Hilton, enroll. Anybody else? Perry, okay, let me try this.
That's what he's done. You should.
Oh, I gotta start over, there we go. And, oh, I spelled it wrong, that's why. I spelled it with an E instead of an A.
Well, yeah, no, you need tech.
There we go.
This needs tech talk also. 'Cause I got tech talk.
All right, anybody else? Okay, enroll users. Okay, sometimes this will come up when the computer's slow, and I can go down here and
Oh, it's right there. I see her on the not enter. Yeah, there you go.
not enroll. Where are we? Right
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
Perfect.
That's a long.
And that added. Okay. So now, when you go back to home, you should actually see it. You should actually see it in my courses now. Tech Talk. I can add yours if yours is not there yet.
Mine's not here. Click home.
Click home. Yeah. All right. So let me come down here. Users, enroll.
They all go to the same place.
See, and this is like an on-the-fly kind of thing where it's really not that. It doesn't take up that much time, which is nice. And then I think yours is in there as Bailey.
Yes, yes.
Oh, did I? B-A-I.
B-A-I-L-E-Y.
Click on that and I'll just see something.
Let's see.
Yeah, okay, so go to my courses.
Let me delete that.
And then,
And, well, it says you're already in there. You're already enrolled
It doesn't
in
have
Tech Talks
doesn't have any classes
as a student.
as a student.
No, you are enrolled as a student in that course, so go to Tech Talks. There you go. You have access. You're good. All right, cool. So everybody should be able to see this page now. Coming up in just a second here. That. We there?
Go ahead, yeah.
Right on. All right. So this is what the general course looks like if you are using what we call a topic format. Okay? Notice on the side it says Tech Talk 1, Tech Talk 3, Tech Talk 2, so on. Those are topics that I have identified. I resorted them in the last class, and I'll show you how I did that in just a minute here. But you could use it this way. Or you could use it, as you will see in just a moment, when you go to your course, it will have dates from January 7th all the way to May that you will be able to do weekly assignments if you wanted to do it that way. I'll give you examples of what that might look like, and I'll give you a great couple of examples of what is going on right now for 2 classes specifically in the school that are using this in the topic format like this. Okay. Now, we're going to do some customization for you for right now for your first period class, or second period, or yeah, your first block class for next semester. All right, now, on your My Courses tab, you will see your first block class. Okay, on the left-hand side over here, where it says My Courses, click on your first block class. Now, Miss Bailey, I don't think, is yours in there?
No, sir.
No, okay. So you might want to follow along with the others while we're doing that. So let's go in to that first block class. Does everybody see your first block class and the dates?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we want to change some of that. We want to customize it.
Real quick, is it supposed to show that, yeah, okay, so there's like a minor Grossman 1,
Exactly.
and then
Participant
there's...
support.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. All right. So when you get to that point, you're going to see only this part with the dates. I want you to scroll either to do one of two things. You can either close My Courses and you'll start seeing this settings box, or just scroll down so that you can see the settings box. Okay? When you see the settings block, these are called blocks, by the way, so we get the terminology consistent. There is a Edit Settings button. Does everybody see that? Click the Edit Settings button. This is where we're going to set up the basics of the class. Okay? In this case, the Tech Talks is part of the professional learning. In your case, it says mathematics up here. In yours, it will say fine arts. For you, it says science. For you, it says foreign language. For you guys, it says English. For you guys, it says math. Okay? Mathematics. There are only two things that I request here. These next two lines that are in red that say course full name and course short name. Okay? Don't change those. Okay? Here's why, and you'll understand. Notice at the top it says Tech Talk for me. For you it says your name, the number 1. We want to have some consistency for our kids in their navigation of what they're going to see. So if they know that I'm working in Miss Hilton's first period class, I'm going to see Hilton 1 up here. So I know I'm in the right course. We want to have some consistency. Now, that's coming off of this line right here, this short name. The full course name, here's where you have a little bit of flexibility. That's what shows up on the front page where it says your name hyphen and then the block number. Well, at the end of the line where you have, let's say, Hilton hyphen first block, then right after that, you could put the actual course name, GPS Algebra, or something like that, or 9th grade Lit, okay? So you could put that at the end of this line, because then it'll show your name hyphen first block and what the course is. And that helps parents.
Well, maybe real quick.
Yes.
Were you saying if we wanted to add just a little something to it, that should it be with the course full name or the course short name?
The course full name, at the very end of the course full name. So it'll say your name hyphen
Okay.
first block, third block, fourth block, and then the name of the course.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Just put nine.
Now,
Then I
these
go
are
hyphen nine.
these are the only mandatory things that you need to put in there.
You know what I mean?
The other things are excellent resources for you or for the kids. Now, the course summary, you could give a brief description of what's going to be covered in the course. What are some of the key concepts that are going to be covered in the course? In an AP course, this course will prepare you for the AP chemistry exam that will occur on May the 19th at such and such time, located such and such. You know, that kind of thing. That's what you would put here. In the format, if you recall earlier, I said that there is a weekly format which has the dates, and there is a topic format which is how I have mine set up. You can choose which you'd like. For example, if you're doing science and you're talking about molecular structure, you might have one topic about molecular structure and all of the things that are going on there. Okay? In math, you might have several different sections. For example, one-step equations, two-step equations, two-variable two-step equations, and so on and so forth. You might want to break it out that way. Or you just might want to go by the date of the dates that you did the information. So, if, for example, if you had a kid that was an ISS, this is a great example of why you might want to use dates instead of topics, is you had I was in ISS on January 7th, 8th, and 9th. What did I miss? Okay, I can go to the website and look at that week and say, okay, I didn't do that, so I need to do that. Okay? And we will have another computer in ISS soon. There's one in there already, and we're going to put a printer in there so that they'll be able to print out stuff in there to do. So that's a possibility. Now, we can choose either topic or weekly. We're not going to talk about those other ones right now because we won't use those functionalities anytime soon. This number of weeks or number of topics, that can be changed to just about any number to 99. Depends on how you want to set up the course. But that's what's going to be visible. So whatever number is here is what's going to show up on that front page. And I'll show you that in just a second. I have it set to 10. The course start date for you is going to be January 7th. And then this other stuff we're not going to worry about except for this, guest access. Aaron Cleveland, who is one of the individuals that's been working with this quite heavily for the last couple of weeks, we got into a discussion about student logins. And I had always assigned students a login and had them go through and log in with that, and I had that information. But that included a generic email address. I wasn't too excited about doing that for 1,700 kids. Even though there's an easy way to do it, but I think that the other solution in this case for what we're doing right now is the easiest. There's an option here that says allow guest access, yes or no. I changed mine to yes so that everybody can get in there. Aaron took it one step further and he put a password in for each of his classes. So now, when a kid goes to the website and logs in as a guest, and he wants to go to Aaron's first block APUSH class, the student has to type in the class password to get in. Okay, that's very restrictive. Now this goes back, who had the question about will parents be able to see this? If the parent, in Aaron's case, if the parents have the password, yes. If we don't put a password in, it's just like any other website. They click on it and they go right in. Okay? So it just depends on how you want to structure your class. I'm not going to say either way. It doesn't matter to me. This has to be yes, but beyond that, I'm good with it. If you want to put a password on, because here's the reason why you might want to have a password. You might have 2 different APUSH classes with 2 different assignments going on. Why you do that, it would be crazy. I mean, having taught AP before, that would just be ludicrous. That's two different, having 2 things going at the same time would be nuts. But it's possible, okay? Or if you had 2 different discussion questions that you wanted to add, then you could have each one locked out and they wouldn't be seeing each other's discussion questions. So that would be the reason you'd put a password in. Yes?
So if you did not have password to it, somebody from 4th block could go into and look at some what's going on in the 1st block or whatever.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
If you don't put a password, you need to click the unmask, or what exactly?
No, that's a good question. Unmask is, if I type in a password, it usually goes in ...
Oh.
If I click unmask, it shows me what I've typed in. Yeah. All right. We're not going to change anything else in here. All this other stuff is very advanced stuff. We're not even going to mess with that. Just come down here and save changes. So now you should be back at your course. If you've chosen topic format, it should have topic 1, 2, 3 over here. If you left it the same with the date, it has January 7th through January 13th over there. Okay? And, is that right? Yeah. And now we're to the point where we can start adding resources. Now, did any of you bring a thumb drive or something? But here's the good thing. I installed the plugin on here for Google Docs. So watch. Everybody right now, you have two different choices here. Number one, again, down in my settings block right here, it says turn editing on. Or in the top right-hand corner here, turn editing on. Okay? On our home page, is everybody on our own personal?
You want us to turn on?
Yes, turn on editing. Everybody go ahead and click turn on editing. Or turn on editing on.
Mine says customize this page, it's the same thing, right?
No.
Okay, now when I click.
Let me make sure that you're in the right place. Hang on. There we go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, there you go. All right. Fantastic. Fabulous. Now, if you have a blank page, right now yours says News Forum at the top. That is a place where you can add daily news, special events coming up, or if you have an announcement you want to make to the class, you can do that right here in the News Forum. Okay? If you wanted to add your syllabus, for example, you would click on Add an Activity or Resource. Now let me tell you this. This is by far the biggest improvement that has been made to Moodle to this point. Because you have your activities listed here, you have your resources listed here. We won't be using any of these right away. The Spanish and foreign language teachers, Spanish and French, might use the glossary. Some of the other people might want to use a glossary. We'll talk about that in a future training, but that would probably be the only one right now that I think would be used up here. We're going to focus right down here in resources right now. There are two resources that you won't use right now, definitely, and that is book and IMS content package. Those are two you won't use, don't even mess with them. But the others are all possible. Here's the nice thing. This is the improvement I was talking about. When I click on File, it tells me what the file module enables me to do, and it tells me how I might be able to use it. So if you question how something is to be used, you can just click on it once and it'll show up and give you an explanation of it right over there. Well, in my case, I want to add my syllabus. All right? So I'm going to say File and click and make sure that the radio dial is set. And I'm going to say Add. And that's going to give me another screen that's going to pop up that says Name and Description. Again, red with asterisk. Okay? Red with asterisk. And I'm going to want to type in the name of the file and possibly what the document is.
It's what it's already named or what it's going to be named?
Well, this is, okay, this right here is what's going to appear as the link. Okay, this is what's going to appear as the link. This down here is a description of what this is. So in my case, it's just syllabus, but if it were, some teachers do handout 2-1, okay? This is, and in the summary or the description section, you're right, this is worksheet 2-1 that has to deal with the conversion of one formula to another, whatever the case may be, okay? That's what you would put in there. Now I'm just going to put syllabus as an example so I can move on. Now, here is, I can either drag and drop it. So let's say I have a folder on my desktop that has all of my files in it. I can drag and drop a file right onto here and it will upload it for me. Or I can do files. Oh, sorry, add. Add. And when I do add, this is what I get. Everybody click add, and let's see if everybody gets this. Perfect. Perfect. Now, if you click on Google Docs, you'll get this login button. Okay? So I can click on login, and it will give me my Google Docs login page. So I'm going to put in and it's going to bring up all of my Google Doc shared documents in here. Takes a couple seconds to load, but remember it's going from my site to the Google site to find it and then list it. So there are all the documents that I have, the Tardy spreadsheet, okay, and so on. Let's talk about this just a little bit. Notice, vast majority of these are Excel, Word documents, right? Does everybody have Word at home? All the kids? No.
Google Docs.
But the basic problem is that we're looking for accessibility. So we need to have documents accessible for students in an easily transportable form. So I was able to get special dispensation from the board office, from technology, and each one of you is going to have the Qt PDF application installed on your computers. What that's going to do is that's going to say that when you create a document in Word, you're going to be able to say File Print, but instead of printing to a printer, you're going to print to Qt PDF, which will create an Adobe Acrobat Reader document, a PDF document, that you will be able to save. That will make it accessible for kids anywhere. They'll be able to access it on their phone. In case I did not show you that already, we are mobile as well. Okay? So kids will be able to access it on their portable device. They will be able to access it here. Okay? There are no PDF files in this particular list, I do not believe. Okay? Ah, here's one. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to add that. Select this file. So I've added a PDF file to this particular topic.
How does the student see it?
Ma'am,
How does the student now see it?
watch this. So now, I'm done. I've uploaded the document, I've told what it is, I have a title for it. I say, save and display. It's going to connect, and bada bing. There's the document. In the browser where they can see it. So now, let's say you have a rubric for an assignment. The parent says, I need to see the rubric. Go to the website, click on this link. You can share that link with them via email. Here it is. They can print it out themselves. We don't have to spend our paper to print it out because we're able to there we go. Alright. I can say print or save. See, I can say print right here, and it'll tell me where I can print it. So they have the ability to do that. And this is all built into the program. It's just that simple. You can do that with any resource. The difference is that, you recall I had the Word documents and the Excel documents in my Google Docs? Well, if I had selected one of those, it would have come up here as, please click here to open in an external program. And then you would have clicked on it and it would open up Word to view it. So that's a problem. So the accessibility and being able to provide PDF documents to the kids is going to be huge. And that's why I'm having them put this piece of software on everybody's computer. Actually, I'm probably going to be the one that comes around and installs it on your computers. They're putting in my admin rights today, and I should be able to do that. So, now, you have now been able to add a resource. You've now been able to change the password. You can do that. You have all of the basics that you need to move forward. Now let's talk about and show you some of the maneuverability that's available. Okay? I just created this particular resource. It's right here under syllabus, right? Well, notice all these little icons out here? All these little icons allow me to do different things. For example, the first one tells me that I can edit the title. So if I just want to edit syllabus, I hit the little crayon thing right there. If I want to edit the entire resource and update it, I can do that here. Okay?
What do you mean entire resource?
Well, here, let's do this.
Not just the title.
Not just the title. If I wanted to click and change everything. Okay, and change whatever that was in there, I could do that. That's my next thing. Let's say I put something in there that's wrong. I made a mistake. I don't want to post that. I don't ever want to post that. I can just click the X right here and that'll delete it. It'll even ask you, are you sure you want to delete that? And you can delete it. Let's say I have something that I need multiple instances of, okay, within the course. I can hit duplicate, which is the ×2, and it will duplicate it right there. And this is so cool, watch this. So let's say I don't want my syllabus in section 1 in the topic section, I want it down here, I can drag and drop it right down here with the little plus sign thing, like this. I can drag it right back up like this too.
But we want it.
Okay, yeah.
I was just playing around and I dragged a document from my desktop onto that screen.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't have to click add an activity or whatever.
Okay, there you go. See? And that was that was what I was going to get to a little bit later, but this is great. When you find out functionality that is usable like that, then you need to share that with everyone so that we can all use that. It's open source within here, okay, within the confines of our building. And eventually, I want to build a course like this for Moodle so that when we get new teachers to the building or new teachers that finally realize, wow, this is really cool, all these people are doing this now, it will be easy for them to go through and do step-by-steps and we can build a course accordingly.
It's Mozilla, but they won't allow me to cut and paste. Like I wanted to take my course description off my fitness syllabus and just plug it into that description that's required.
Right?
It won't allow me to cut and paste it.
It may be because it's student rights. You might need to be on your computer to do it.
And I can modify this from anywhere.
Exactly. See, yes, exactly. You can modify this from home. You can modify this from your car if you have a G3 or a G4 access, 4G access. Absolutely. I saw another hand. Yes.
If I teach two classes, two different periods of the same course, do you have to do all this, or at the top, can you?
You have to do it twice if you want it in two different courses. However, there is a shortcut that is possible, but it involves a couple of extra steps. And that would be using the restore right here. Because what you can do, each one of you can do, is you can actually back up your course. I have it set up where every Sunday night at 3 a.m. it's going to back up the courses. Every course in the installation.
So if Moodle crashes.
So if Moodle crashes, we'll have backups. But in this case, if you wanted to do that, you could back up the course and then restore it on top of another course and not have to retype everything. So that is possible. Okay. So now let's kind of review a little bit. He doesn't have a clock in here. Yeah, he does. All right.
According to mine, it's 5:10 a.m.
5:10 a.m.
About 10:15.
10:15, so we got about 15 minutes, that's perfect, okay, yes.
Instead of like doubling everything, if you have more than you teach the same thing more than once, can you just change Perry 1 to Perry 1 and 4? You know what I mean?
Like if it's the same.
We could
subject.
do that, we could do that. If you wanted to do, in your case, it would be, in the short name, it would be Perry 1_4. Because you can't use the dash, you'd have to use the underscore in there. Okay? So we could do Perry _, so in your case it could be Bailey 1_3, or whatever the case may be. So yes, we could do that. I don't have any problem with that.
Assuming you teach exactly the same. as
Assuming you're teaching the exact same thing, exactly.
So, under the course full name, it should remain the same, or can we put
The
third?
course full name, you could do first and third block.
Okay, you can
Yeah,
add that.
exactly. You can change that. Now, if you decide to do that, let me know, because then I can use my, oh, I haven't gotten to that part. Well, let me tell you this really cool thing. All right, so let's say you want to build your entire class. Let's say you're so fired up about this that you go through and you want to build the whole thing all the way through. No problem. But the problem is I don't want my kids knowing what we're doing 3 weeks down the line. I want them to focus on the here and now. Well, right out here on the right-hand side, I can click the little eyeball and it will do the closed eyes. It's shut. So when I'm a student, now here's what, if you, and all of you have this capability, right over here, switch role to teacher. This will, to student. This is what the students will see when they go in. Dun, 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 dun. It's connecting, boom. Notice, Tech Talk 3 is gone. Because you have closed the eyelid where they can't see it. If I want to go back to the way I was, I just return to my normal role and turn my editing on once again. And I can turn that eyeball back on by just clicking, it's thinking, there we go, by clicking the eyelid. And now they'll be able to see it again. You can do the same thing within your weeks or your topics to individual things. So let's say I have 10 items in here and I want to do it day by day by day within that week. I can do the eyeball for each of the ones I don't want them to see and do that. Okay. Now you notice they're out of order, right? The sorts, the Tech Talk 1, Tech Talk 3, Tech Talk 2 are out of order. I can just take this whole section and move it down.
That's really cool.
And, oh, hang on, I didn't let go in time. There we go. All right, come on now. There we go, right there. Okay, there. All right, yes.
I have a share.
Yay, go ahead.
Okay, we're team teachers.
Right?
Okay, she just put the syllabus on, I put the class procedures, and they both show up.
On both.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep,
pretty
that's
cool.
exactly it. That's
pretty
right.
cool.
That's the great functionality of this is I have you both in as editing teachers or as teachers, so within the same course, so you can share resources and build at the same time. The collaboration grows from there. Now, get this. All right. Now remember, we go back to the backup and restore. Let's say we have a brand new teacher that comes into the building and we have a veteran teacher that's built this massive Moodle course that's the subject that this teacher is teaching for the very first time. Here's the backup file, restore it, use this material. See what I'm saying? This is huge as far as just the overall collaboration aspect of doing this. Not to mention the amount of resource we can get out to the kids. Now, let me give you some examples of what people are doing so you can see them. Let me go back to my home page here. I want to show you Aaron Cleveland's site first of all, because he's doing some really cool stuff with his A-Push class. And if I come into here, it will. Aaron is using the topic format. Okay, what he's done is he has changed the name of the news forum. He changed it to main events. So kids can click in there to see what the main events are going on in his classroom. Online edition of the textbook. Remember I said at the beginning, this is a great place to list those resources that kids will use all the time in this very top section here, like your syllabus and things like that. Online link to the textbook. Interesting articles, course related, he can drop those into a folder. Pre-Civil War terms. This is a glossary that he's working on, or we started talking about yesterday. Take a look at what the glossary is going to look like. I'm not sure if he's done anything more with it. We just did an initial antebellum. So he has antebellum is the topic, and he has a link to a particular website that the kids can go to read more about it, and he can provide a definition for that underneath. So he's going and providing additional resource that way. Once we get to the point where kids can log in as a logged in user, we can make these glossaries editable so that kids can go in and edit and add and build upon that. So we have the ability to do that as well. Aaron is using it for, obviously, as American history, AP U.S. history class. So he has his document-based questions that are in here. He's got links to other resources and things. So he's already starting to use it, and his AP kids are using it. But the thing is that this isn't just for AP kids. This is for all of our kids that need that need that technology to be engaged. Okay. Let's talk about English. Okay, I think this is the coolest. I don't think he has a set of speakers in here, so I don't think we're going to be able to hear this very well, but here's Canarella's class. Now, she has her, she records her assignments. Okay, so for example, here is a lecture that she's done, and she has uploaded it to YouTube. All right, and the volume obviously is down on the machine, but maybe I can get to it. But anyway, this is a 6-minute lecture that she's done. Now, she's actually showing this video in class while she's walking around doing classroom management. She says it's amazing how the kids are focused on that. Focused on the instruction for 25 minutes and not being as disruptive. Because she's able to walk around and say, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me up there. Now that's an extreme case, but what about the kid who misses that class? That kid who's in ISS? That kid who's out absent? Go to the website and watch the lecture. Oh, I didn't hear what you said. What do you mean? Okay, pause, back up. Okay, what did she say again? Let's play that. Okay, they have the ability to go back and forth and pause it and understand what happened. Okay, linked to that is here's the paper that she's talking about, the story, the Hemingway story that she's talking about. Here it is. The kids, I didn't read that. Well, go in and read it. Then listen to what the lecture says. Do it at the same time. Yeah.
For the videos, is that QuickTime or is it connected?
You'll have to talk to her. She's doing something different. Now, here's what I'm proposing. I'm going to propose it to Glenn. We buy one camera, one USB camera for each department that you can share amongst yourselves. Okay? And one USB microphone that you can share to record podcasts. Because this is special dispensation too, we're going to be allowed, we're pretty sure we're going to be allowed to install Audacity with the lame MP3 DLL, which means we would be able to create MP3s that the kids could download from the website and put on their iPods. Or listen to them on there. So you could create a podcast lecture of what you want to talk about and have it audio for them to listen to. Portable. Okay, so I'm thinking way outside the box here, folks. We have got to reach these kids somehow. But these are some of the things that we can do. In the math department, all right, let me go back to my Tech Talks course. How much time I got, Coach?
10:24.
Cool, I got 6 minutes. That's going to be perfect. All right, so now, in my Tech Talks course, I have a special section on using Khan Academy. I have the step-by-step instructions on how to use a Khan Academy video. So let's say you're doing one-step equations and you have a kid that just does not understand how you're presenting it. You can go to Khan Academy and find a video that will do the same as what you're trying to explain to the child, and possibly they will be able to understand it better here than they could with you presenting it. There's nothing wrong with that. Provide the resources that is going to let the kid open that one lock that might open up the world. Okay, so this Khan Academy video has to do, it worked in the other classroom, so I'm not sure why it's not working in here. But it's probably a plug-in issue. Oh, okay. I think it's just taking time to load. But the video will load in here. It has audio and has explanation on how they can do those particular types of problems. And there are thousands of Khan Academy videos for math and science. Thousands. Okay. YouTube videos, same thing. If you find a YouTube video that would fit in, or a TeacherTube video, same instructions. Okay? A lot of really good questions came out today. Other questions that you've come across? The shares with, it shows up on both, so you can share that with the special ed department and the other teachers. Hey, it shows up on both of ours, because every team taught class I've set up with both teachers as teachers.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yes?
So I would assume that this, the Promethean boards have a capacity to record your lesson, and I would assume if you saved it and however way you saved it, you could refer back exactly the same way.
Exactly. That is exactly right. So if you have a Promethean board, you can do that. Okay? Smartboard does the same thing. You can create PDF files from Smartboard to put in here. So yes.
Is there a way as we upload the files to show like which files we used each day, or would you say just have it all the files for 1 week, and then what I was just doing, I don't know if there's a better way, is in the summary of the week give each day exactly what files were.
I'm glad you said that. There is an easy way to do that. And there's a way to organize a little bit better. Okay? So let's say, for example, I have these two resources, and I'm doing this one on Monday and this one on Tuesday. Okay? Let me go in to turn editing on first of all. Remember I told you we were only going to use the resource section down at the bottom of the add activities and stuff? Alright, I'm going to add an activity or resource. I'm going to click label. Okay? So if you're using the weekly format, I can say add a label to this particular week, and right here I'm going to type in Monday. Alright? And this is just like a text editor. So if I want to say Monday and underline it and bold it and make it a little bit bigger than the rest, make it 14, okay, and then say save and return to course. This is the label function now in the resources. Here's Monday. I can drag this right up above here. And then it shows up as Monday. So now what the kids see, switch to student, they see Monday this. And I could put the Tuesday in between and so on and so forth. And now, okay, so here's where that duplicate function comes in really handy, because you don't have to type Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all the time anymore. Now you just do duplicate, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. Bada boom, bada bang. So, other questions? Those are good questions. Good questions.
I think it's going to be an excellent resource for me to be able to put student examples on.
Oh yeah, student examples. Make sure you get the written waiver. Yeah, we got to get that. But yeah, or you don't even need to put the kids' names on it. So as long as you don't, you know, as long as we're not putting kids' names out there with, here's an excellent piece of work. This is what would be a 4 in a rubric. Okay, this is what would be a 1 in a rubric. See the differences. Do the compare and contrast. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. English papers. This is an excellent paper. This is a 4. This is a 1. These are the differences between the two. That's great stuff. Great stuff. Other questions? How to do, in y'all's case, how to do a push-up. Demonstration video. How to do a push-up. How to do a sit-up. How to do a crunch. I mean, stuff like that.
Some people don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Just like how to solve a quadratic equation.
That too. Oh, speaking of with the math teachers, oh, I hope he has the Flash plug-in enclosed. Hang on. I really hope he has the plug-in installed here. Let me return to.
Are you talking about the interactive science?
No, I want to show you this. If you are a math teacher, please, I hope he has Java installed on these. I am going to add an activity and I'm going to add a page right down here. Okay? If
A web page.
this would be a web page within Moodle, within the course. I can say example. I'm watching while I'm typing, so. And then right down here I can say example. And then down here I'm going to do the content of the web page. If I click on this, he doesn't have a Java-enabled browser. But your Java-enabled browser brings up the formula creation tool where you can actually create formulas with limit signs and the whole thing included in there to be able to put in the values for those. So I mean, this is good. This is good for the math department too. Anything else today? Well, I think that we have done a pretty good job of sticking to the overall course summary, the agenda for today. We talked about the purpose of the portal in many different aspects of how we're going to use it. You were able to log in. You were able to edit your course settings and do the summaries and things like that. And we talked about the key tools. It's not, the basics are really simple. It's just point and click, drag and drop. It's just like if you were using your computer to build something on your desktop, you're just building it out on the web. Now, we're going to meet again next Thursday, and we'll go into some other tools that might be utilized by you. In the interim time, try to build and try to come up with some of those. That's something I can share. Try to come up with some of those things and bring them with you next time. Those of you that weren't able to bring your flash drives or didn't have access to some additional resources this week, bring them next week. I can show you how to do that. I'll see if I can't get a camera in here so we can show you how to do the editing and things like that, and the audio and so on and so forth. I'll bring my laptop in here because I know I have the audio setups in there that I can show you. And then we'll go from there. Cool? Cool. Did everybody sign in? And did everybody get a Gene Pass? Sweet. All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too.